in a pretty crowded media landscape. There's a lot of places folks could go to do video. Like, what'd you get right early on that you think helped propel you guys on the right track?
People say like scale the unscalable. So early days, I had more time than money. So I was able to just go further, just be more present for more things.
How are you thinking about pivoting as a business owner to, stick with your core, but also match what's happening now?
There's not a day that doesn't go by that I'm not even thinking about AI, or people talk about like, what are you gonna do with AI in the business? And, because in one way it could take over.
What are some things you go back to that maybe give you an orientation or a North Star as you're building a team?
Someone's hiring us to make them a great video. I can't come to them and say, here's a subpar video, but don't worry, everyone's really Catholic.
My name's Nick Madden. I'm the CEO of Scent, and this is Breaking the Barrier podcast, where we're breaking the barrier between faith and business. Today, I'm here with Rob Kaczmark, CEO and founder of Spirit Juice Studios. They've redefined the Catholic media landscape over the last 19 years. We have a great conversation. We dive into AI and media, the changing media landscape, faith and family coming together. Thanks for joining us. So Rob, you're the founder and CEO of Spirit Juice Studios. For the last 19 years, you've upped the bar for Catholic media. And we were just chatting before, you guys put out over 1,000, maybe close to 3,000, 5,000 videos per year, and you've had over 1 billion views. It hasn't always looked this big. We just got to see the tour of the space. Thanks for making time with me today, man.
Of course. It's an honor. I'm glad to be here. And yeah, no, it hasn't. It's, I would say, the early stages looked a lot different than it does right now.
I'd love to go back there. Yeah. And just like take me back. So what did, Spirit Juice or, pre-branding, what did the business look like? What did you see? And we'll just unpack it from there.
So I'll take it back to like when Spirit Juice. So we've been doing the business now for 18, 19 years, but before that it was a radio show on Relevant Radio. And so, Relevant Radio, it's been, syndicated over a ton of networks. It's probably the biggest Catholic radio station in the country. And so we were the only show that did Catholic music. And so I was working a full-time job and just volunteered with a few other people to help produce this radio show. I was the host. And I just, I would take a train to work. And on the way to work, I would work at engineering the show. On the way back, I would go there after work. There'd be some nights where I'd be recording until the wee hours. And thankfully, so I worked at the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower, and the studio was down the street. So I'd be there till like 2, 3 in the morning. And then I'd come back, and then because all the trains were done. So I would then sleep underneath my desk. And scared a cleaning lady once.
That is wild. Were you single at the time? You weren't married.
I was dating someone, but it wasn't really going great.
They let you sleep under the desk and it was fine.
Yeah. I had that luxury of just like not, no obligation. So I can kind of, you have the freedom to like do stuff like that. And that was the early days. And I thought that God was going to call me to be a host and that had to be syndicated and then go national on Relevant. He had other plans. We got kicked off the radio. So we had an abrupt ending to our Relevant days. But if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here. And I'm happy to talk about that or not happy to talk about it, whatever you want to do.
No, I love it. Well, I think that there's, as I get to see a lot of entrepreneurs in various ways, and I've known you for a while. So I'd love to hit some of those inflection points. Sure. So like when you think back, okay, we got kicked off of Relevant Radio. What happened in that inflection point? What was going through your mind? And yeah, let's take me back there.
I'm a cradle Catholic, and I got more serious in my faith, probably around like 7th, 8th grade, then high school. And then, high school, college, it really like took root. And this was the first time that I think I can recall that I had a really negative experience with the church. And so it was a little bit of a crisis of faith for me personally when this happened, because the long and short was, so we had the radio show, 30 minutes. It was Catholic music. However, at the time, there was a priest, a very famous priest and preacher, Father Karapi. Do you remember Father Karapi?
I do.
So he was like the Bishop Barron of the early 2000s. Yep. Very distinct voice. And he was fantastic. So he was like the main star in Relevant. there was a gentleman who was a house DJ in Chicago, if you don't know, born house music, and was not religious or anything, and had a huge conversion. He drove a truck during the day, listened to Father Crappie, was super inspired, reached out to the show, to me, and then it brought him on the show, and then he made this mix that took Father Crappie, calling young men to the priesthood. It was a mix of Eric Pritt's Call on Me, melded together. It was awesome. We played it on the show. It was like the most popular thing we did, because it brings in dance music and the priest, and we didn't change a single word that Father Crappie had said. And so we were at this big gathering for Relevant Radio. It had all the CEO, COO, all the stuff. And I was pitching myself. I was like, hey, we'd love to do more. Here's this disc. It has the Father Crappie in our promo. And when I said Father Crappie, he just stopped. He goes, what'd you say? I was like, oh, the Father Crappie mix. He goes, you can't play Father Crappie. And he was like, okay, well, try to keep talking. And the conversation just ended. He's like, you can't play. You can only play with Father Crappie sends you to play. You can't play any of his stuff. Okay. And so it was like a kind of a weird interaction. Okay, fast forward the next morning, get a call from the station manager. He's like, hey, we have to pull all of your shows. Because at this point, we had done quite a few shows. Like, all your shows that have the Father Crappie mix can't air anymore. Okay, so we sent an email to Father Crappie. Just say, hey, we're really sorry. I don't know if we're super sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to do anything. And on the train ride home, I was on the metro. I got a call from the station manager. And he's like, Rob, I'm sorry to let you know, but we have to take it off the air permanently. I think reading between the lines, I think what they had to do is make an example because they didn't want it. Like, he was such a big deal. And so they didn't want to disrupt anything that would cause
IP infringement, basically. Like, what was their, yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious what the thing was. I think it was he is such a big deal. We don't want to upset the apple cart. Mm-hmm. So if he finds out or how he found out, like, well, it's not a problem anymore because that person's, it's like firing, someone does something, you gotta, okay, mm-hmm. Well, someone's got to pay the piper. And so
you're sitting there on the train ride and you're thinking, hey, do I just go back to my 9 to 5? Am I going to keep...
still doing the 9 to 5. I've been volunteering this for forever.
Right.
I wasn't making a thing. I was putting sleeping under my desk and putting everything into this. And I was like, for what? And because some priest has some ego that I can't play a song that we didn't, I wasn't even doing anything negative. I was bringing people in and so I was pretty pissed off. I will say this. It was a rough couple days.
Yep.
It was a rough couple days. But you got to move forward. And, I realized my faith was bigger than any person or any, religious in that. And we're all fallen people. So listen, I've made plenty of mistakes. Hopefully I, haven't led someone astray, but, we're all in that spot. And so just kept making stuff. I still had in me to keep making stuff. And so I didn't know what we were going to do. I mean, we couldn't, go on the radio anymore. And 6 months later, got approached by an organization that was interested in some video work. And then, the rest is history.
Thanks for joining us. I know you hear this all the time from all different podcasters, but if you could like and follow us, it's a big deal. It helps us make more content like this. More people see it. We beat the algorithm. We can reach more Catholic entrepreneurs, help you break the barrier, bring your faith into business, and build something beautiful for the Lord. So please like and subscribe. It'll go a long way. Super appreciate it. I'd like to take a moment to share about our upcoming Sent Summit. It's going to be in Denver from September 8th to the 11th, and we're going to be gathering 600 top Catholic entrepreneurs, investors, and philanthropists to come together for conversation, for speaking, for community. We have great speakers lined up. We've got Arthur Brooks kicking off as one of the keynotes. We'd love to see you there. If you're interested, check out our website to learn more details. Okay, so yeah, let's dive into another inflection point on the journey. Was there a point where because at this point, looking back now, I mean, we just toured all the Spiritual Studios. It's awesome. You guys have multiple production facilities. I mean, you got the team here is incredible. So was there a point where you look back and said, hey, we've built something here? When did you have a moment where you took a beat and said, hey, we've built something?
Yes and no. There's small moments, I think, where you when we give you a tour and, because when you're around something so often, it just becomes regular. But I mean, just seeing you get excited, it was a bit of a moment. It doesn't, I think like many things, you never feel like you actually make it. It's a bit of I guess nowadays people call it the imposter syndrome or something. And I don't know if that fully applies to this. There's certain times where you're like, okay, but everything's so slow. Like even this, it's all very, very slow. And I think until you take because we're all, it's essentially you're climbing up a mountain, until you stop for a second and look around, then you actually get to appreciate it. And I think I've been really bad, like in my prayer life, I've been really bad at being grateful. I'm like constantly thinking about like what's not going right, either at, personal stuff or at work stuff. Like there's never a shortage of things going wrong. And to the degree of how much, and I'm usually focused on that, and I'm not focusing on just appreciating what's here. And so I need to be better at that.
No, it's good. And I think that's true from my experience as well. As when you're building, you don't often take a breath and look back. And sometimes it takes somebody else to come into your world and be like, wow, you've built something pretty awesome here.
Yeah.
You're coming in on 20 years, over 1 billion views. Like those are some big milestones, and you've leveled up, I think, what the Catholic media world is. You've raised the bar for it. And knowing you just, it's almost like when you see somebody with genius, they don't always see it themselves. You have a high degree of attention to detail, and you've got that. You got labels on all the things. So I'd love to just hang out with that level of excellence and some of the stuff that you maybe don't even realize you do, but in a creative profession and serving businesses and the church and in this creative capacity, I think you do a lot of things kind of intuitively. So what do you think you got right early on to earn trust in a pretty crowded media landscape? There's a lot of places folks could go to do video. Like, what'd you get right early on that you think helped propel you guys on the right track?
I think we tried to do sort of like people say like scale the unscalable. So early days, I had more time than money. So I was able to just go further with projects and get to know clients. I'm like, just be more present for more things. I remember like early days, we would take pictures on set and stuff. When we were done, we'd make like a book, like a physical book, and give like, the clients a book and give them like this like really custom experience. And, as we've grown, we're not able to do that all the time, in other ways, but to give, like, I really cared. Like the videos we were doing for Spirit Juice, I really cared about, like the mission. I bought into every, the client that hire us. It's like, they're doing great stuff. I want them to succeed in what they're doing. And so in one way it was easy because I believed in what the mission was for each of organization. And so I was able to kind of put that time in and really just spend, like we would have back-to-back shoots, right? And this is like before getting married or kids and stuff. And so like I would come back, dump the footage, sleep on the couch, wake up at like 6 and then be back on the shoot again and like do that at a high, like with keeping the cost down, right? And trying to deliver a high quality product for them, and trying to scale that in a way in the Catholic Church that like others couldn't do for the same cost.
Yeah. Was there a point where you had to decide whether or not you were going to serve explicitly Catholic clients and like whether or not that was going to be a strategic move that you did? Because you could very well serve a lot of clients with this is top level production.
Yeah, that was the reason for starting the company. It was I wanted to serve the church. I saw, I often talk about like the beginning of Spirit Juice in the sense of like the desire, and it was like when I was in youth group in high school and I saw a flyer that the youth minister put out, and it was like a terrible flyer. Like you're not going to get any kids to come to this. Like it looks terrible. And I'm like, can someone make something better? And she's like, well, why don't you make something better? Essentially was a thing. And so I was like, okay, so that's kind of been the edict of like, so we've done stuff, we have like a small division that does like our commercial corporate stuff, which is fine. But Spirit Juice Studios as a whole is to serve the church. And that's where my heart is. It's elevating Catholic media, because ultimately like we have the best message. It often is presented in a poor form, or was at the very least. And so, there is just as noble as it is to say, oh, we're just doing Catholic media. I mean, we can't do our job if there's not like a bazillion other organizations and companies doing things. Like we need cameras. And so like, there's a lot of great Catholics that are running other companies. And so certainly want to help serve them and keep their businesses and how we can hopefully influence content that they're creating too.
Yeah. 100%. So we're going to dive into like the landscape you live in now, and for the folks who aren't maybe specifically in media, but just to hang out here for a second, you're working with clients who want to cut through the clutter and not be the lame flyer that you saw as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to challenge people often? Do you have to challenge people often to just be more bold in their communication, like, and just say things a little more either plain or radical? Like, are you trying to help people cut through the clutter in their communication? How much is it, the technical side and the actual production of it versus like, hey, what you're saying needs to punch?
I think I was more early on. And then I came to a realization that I'm not the smartest person in the room, and the client knows more about their audience than I do. So a lot of times I'd be like, "No, you should say it like this," and so, but that's not how our audience is. And so there was a term that came up with being obedient to the project. And so I think there's a balance. I think you want to encourage people to be bold, but also be obedient to the project and who their audience is, and it's a dance, right? I tend to be a little bit more vocal in just sort of like Catholic media as a whole. And I think Catholic media as a whole should be more bold. But oftentimes with our client work, it's not necessarily that conversation because that might not be the need. But if it comes up and it's a spot. But I mean, I've been very, like I was doing, I posted on LinkedIn about, because we grew some of our YouTube channels. And so, I thought like, oh, I'm kind of a smart guy with YouTube. So I started doing like, I'll do audits for YouTube. And so people like EWTN, Relevant Radio, some of like the bigger players reached out and I did like audits, and I was, critical in that way, but in a way of like a family member, right? If someone's like, hey, what do you think of like what I'm wearing? We're trying to, improve each other. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes. In a good spirit. Have you ever turned down a project that someone was excited to work with you, but you didn't see blank?
From a religious, more moral perspective, or just from like a creative perspective?
From a moral perspective or from a creative perspective. They didn't have clarity as a client, or somebody that approached you from a more secular sense that you just didn't fit with.
I'm sure there's been instances. I think we have a pretty strong like look and feel for what we're going for. So we generally try to, I know it's come. I think about, there was what was a vendor? They turned me down. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and I forget what he was. It was like either some accounting thing or something. And then he found out, it might have even been tax or something, but he found out that was Catholic. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't work with you. So it's like, all right, respect, man. Like,
sure.
Like, it's cool.
But not really on the client selection side. Yeah.
Not necessarily. No.
I've spent way less time than you, but I've spent some time in the creative space, and sometimes people don't have a clear vision of what they want, and you're helping them discover that vision. And you say obedience to the project. Like, is there a process you have to get to a certain clarity to make sure that your team's not running around as you get to a project? Or is there a little bit of art there that kind of...
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing that stops us from working with people is money.
Yeah.
That like we're in I still kind of get pinged when people send stuff to our website. There's a lot of people with a lot of ideas, but not any money. So like in one way, yeah, we turn a lot of people down, but mainly because they just have some grand idea and no money, or like little money. They want to do $1 million project for $5,000. Like we would get so often, if you remember the Catholics Come Home commercials, Tom Peterson, like the epic one. Tom spent like $1 million in that thing. And we would get people like, hey, we want to, like the Catholics Come Home commercial. Okay, cool. What's your budget? About $7,000. You're like, and so, there's definitely been instances where it doesn't line up, and we've, we just like, it's not going to work in that way. But we try to bring people along clarity wise. Like what I think we do well, and one of our bigger projects, I think maybe a lot of people could have seen, is called The Veil Removed. It's a short film. Actually, we put it out in 2019, but it's got like, crazy amount of views. It's a young man walks into the church while mass is going on. And then basically during like the consecration, Jesus comes down as a priest, and you see all the angels and say the whole tableau. And so Chris, who came to us, it was a very rough idea. She never made a single project. And, honestly, I told her, like, I think you're kind of crazy, Chris. Like, this is like, but she was like she's like, the Lord wants you to make this. And so we work with her. We helped her develop it. But there was a level of like, trust and investment that she had with us and we had with her. And so we try to bring people along as much as we can, but, sometimes it just doesn't work out. for whatever reason.
No, so you you're living and seeing all these projects that come to you that maybe don't have budgets for them, or all these, parishes with various needs or dioceses with various needs. And there's the budget on one hand, and then there's the case for investment on the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
What opportunities do you see in the church for media to make a big impact? And we're going to switch gears to a business sense here. And I kind of want to help people to see, okay, what does a redeemed world look like in this area? What would the next step towards a redeemed world? So you know our Catholic Church well. Like, where do you see opportunities for investment that would really bring souls to Christ?
To me, it seems like plain as day, and just people are just like looking at like if that's the answer, people are just like, the church is just doing this, looking over here, like, hey, I think the answer's over there. No, I don't think it is. And the answer is like, look at how the world sells everything. Everything. I mean, like products, services, all this stuff, and the church is like, no, I think we're just gonna keep looking. Like, oh, you need more people to the priesthood. Okay, you could run these campaigns if you invest real money into like creating a campaign, creating this stuff, inspiring people. I mean, how many times you got these like Comic-Cons? I'm saying like I mean, I'm a bit of a nerd too. I mean, you've seen my office, but you have these Comic-Cons and all this stuff where people dress up like a bazillion different like superheroes and all this stuff. Cool, no problem. I think it's stuff, it's kind of fun. And out of nothing, things that don't exist. Someone just wrote it. Like, okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi's gonna, stab this guy. And like people like worship that stuff. Granted, you have the church, like you can make these stories about that. You can do so much, but it's like, I think the church, we talked earlier, the church wasn't afraid of building the most beautiful buildings on the planet, hundreds of years ago. But I think maybe afraid is not the right word, but they're afraid of creating the most beautiful pieces of media that, like, I mean, again, we talk about these Gothic cathedrals or any of these like beautiful cathedrals. They were beautiful back then. They were beautiful today. You can create beautiful pieces of media that will inspire people. I mean, it's why we have the classics, the movies, the Indiana Jones, the Star Wars. People are constantly inspired. I mean, my kids love Indiana Jones, and this was made 30 years after they are. So I don't know. I think that's the answer for so much of it. But I think it feels frivolous, right? Like a beautiful church. Okay, that, is great, but a film, I don't know. It's not that important.
Yeah. So you have somebody listening to this who's involved in their local parish and is like, yep, I resonate. I see what he's talking about. We're not putting enough money towards media. Do you think parishes should be putting significant chunks towards their budgets?
They don't have the money. I mean, parishes are closing down.
If you had a donor that was like, yep, I'll fund that media project.
Yeah. I mean,
what's a good budget that you'd say, hey, if you want to do a really awesome just promo video for this parish? On the spot.
We have a producer over here, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, that it's a sliding scale. I think generally like a promo video, a day or two of filming, you're between say 12 and 20,000. It could be less. I would say it's less of like it's a little bit more of like a overall strategy, right? It's not just like a one and done. I would say, okay, you need to know like where are the gaps right now. So is it people coming in? Is it people coming back? Is it what kind of audience? And then tailor to that. So it's not just like write a check, blank check, and then, like add to cart for Amazon. I'd be a little bit more strategic, and I would lean into, like, it might not be a promo video. It might be some other stuff, other pieces of content. But that the media is where, we're all glued to our phones, and I would say when we're on our phones, we're pretty much watching videos, right?
Yep.
And so it just, there's a lot of Catholics making stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of Catholics making stuff, but I just think from a bigger scale, I mean, the Mormons do a great job of it. I'll say that. If you look at what the Mormons do, their media stuff is top notch. And they don't just do, like, they do more stuff than you even think about. Like dry bar comedy is the Mormons. They have a whole comedy thing that's clean. Dry bar meaning like it's like clean. Oh, yeah. I think that's what the intention is. So there's
position for the secular world, but offering something of moral value because you can have your family watch it with you. Yeah.
There's just, it's in one way unlimited potential that you can do.
Yes. Yes. No, I love it. I mean, you're going to have a bunch of folks listening to this who are building businesses, trying to be great spouses, trying to be great fathers, mothers, and also involved in their parish.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to see opportunities for media because that's how they think in a business context.
Yeah.
I'm going to flip this one on its head for a second.
Please.
Kind of a wild one. So when we think of media, we think of kind of showing ourselves to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see organizations that are doing good internal media for their own employees, their own groups, their own, I don't know, within the church or within the business realm more broadly? I'm running a business with, 400 employees, and I'm thinking, man, media internal is such a hard sell to get by our CFO, but there's so much impact because that's the team that actually makes things go, and that's who serves our guests. So have you seen that done well?
I have. So there's no matter what sector you're in, you kind of have like the subculture of that. So I'm in some filmmakers and stuff, and this one podcast I was listening to, he did the internal training video for Dave's Hot Chicken. It was like a new employee comes to Dave's Hot Chicken. This thing looked incredible. I mean, he made it fun. So I don't know if Dave's Hot Chicken does this for all their stuff, but the stuff that he showed on that podcast, it was great. And
what's the podcast? How could I see as an example? Because that would be inspiring to see. You could describe it, but nothing like seeing it.
I think I'm pretty sure it's Full-Time Filmmaker is the podcast. Cool. And so if you type in, I think Full-Time Filmmaker, or it might be Course Creator Pro, either one of those, and then Dave's Hot Chicken, you see the guest on there. So I don't even think it costs that much more money than it would be to do the other way. I think they had an eye for it, and they just had a desire. So a lot of times things don't even cost more. It's just saying like, I want this. Like if you're going to go buy a car, you can buy, for $50,000, you can get a car that looks kind of boring, or you can get a car that looks kind of cool. It's just what your preference is. And you're going to have some trade-offs for each of the, depending on which way it is. So taste is the most important thing. You can't, you see a lot of tattoos, also another subculture in that they say like celebrities, like they can buy a lot of things, but they can't buy taste. And so there's a lot of celebrities that have really bad tattoos and they can buy whatever they want. And so you have to have good taste in this thing. Because if you don't have good taste, then someone's going to deliver something and you're like, well, it's fine with me. And not know like, no, that looks terrible. I'm not putting that out.
So let's just pretend just hypothetically that I'm not sure if I have good taste. Is that why you'd hire somebody with good taste? You're like, hey,
yeah. That's honestly, that would be your best investment. Hire someone with really good taste for what you're looking to do. Not necessarily on how they dress, but and what they're putting out, because they're not going to let something that's subpar go out. Because oftentimes, like I said, things that look better don't often cost more. It's just how someone does it.
Yes. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit to the business owner. You've been in multiple fellowship groups with us at Cent, and you've seen a lot of different businesses from the inside and out and people's lives. And so you get a unique lens running a very successful media studio on what's changing in the media landscape. What do you see right now that's changing that you would really want Catholic entrepreneurs to know about?
It's less about focusing on one, we talk about like a promo video and stuff. I think here's the thing. We're only adding. We're not a promo video, great. You kind of like no brainer or who you are video, but that's like, you got to keep it's this constant machine of content. So I think you want to look at as a business owner, if you're running a business, no matter what it is, 2 or 3 tiers of content you're making. You want to have some high level stuff that's sort of like your commercial level. It shows you guys at your best. Maybe call it a commercial, call it who you are, really give someone an outside perspective, like what the company is, what they do, if we're looking to get more. And then there's like the regular content that's just churned out every day. You have to keep putting out a ton of content. And so there's like the high level, call it, and then just like the regular stuff. And then I would encourage the founder content. So whoever's running the place, give a perspective for that, because whether it's people that want to hire or work with them, giving a glimpse in on that is huge. And that's what I've been trying to do more lately, is doing more, they call it founder content. So if you own the business, you're putting out stuff that honestly, you can kind of talk about anything. It could be about the business, it could be about home stuff.
With you as a founder on camera.
Yep. Yeah.
Speaking directly to the people that you might employ, people that like guests.
Everyone,
like,
because like I've had people that I've hired that have been like, oh, I saw your videos. I've had people that have, for clients, oh, I saw your videos. It puts you out there. And I know it's like, oh, I don't want to be on camera. It can feel like a waste of time. Even when I record, I'm like, I should be doing something else. I should be doing something that's more productive than, sitting in front of a camera and talking about like, Diet Coke and, whatever. I don't know. But it gives you a sense like you can't have, you're developing a relationship with people and they're getting to understand you and whether they want to work with you or work for you, or just be along with you, for the journey. And then they might come along, you never know where people come along.
Right. Okay. So you're thinking people who are with you on the mission, whether that be teammates or partners, not really from a sales perspective. That's kind of that's the top of funnel. Hey, this is what our company's about. Do that premium, churn content out. That's value add to people, but is maybe not with the level of production quality at the top. And then have something, would you call that a personal brand, or is this through your business? Like,
Yeah, you can, it kind of, listen, like, and this probably goes into the family and life. Like, in one way, I don't really have a person. Like, it's not like you could call it a personal brand, but, it could go out through the business too. It doesn't really matter at this point. It used to be, the days of like, you pump everything to like one single video, one account, but now it's just getting it out there. So honestly, I wouldn't even overthink it. Put it on, make your own thing, put it on the company, put it on both. And just there's so much media out there that you're just lucky that people get to see it. And
totally. Okay, so let's hang out there for a second. I'm tracking with you. This is good for me. I'm running businesses and trying to do this for Scent obviously and Red Door. What is the media landscape like right now? It just seems so crowded. Like there's so much production that you can't be seen without dollars. Like the advertising landscape's turning into a bloodbath. Like what do you see in the landscape right now that would help people, either creators like yourself or businesses that are trying to be seen, like actually skate to where the puck's going to be and cut through the clutter?
Well, I have good news for you. It's bad news actually for us. The content that's doing great on social media now is really poorly produced stuff. So like right from your phone, like raw stuff actually is performing right now. It's performing and everything. It's all a trend, right? People fashions like skinny and baggy. So it's going to go up and down. But like right now, that's performing really well. So just raw on your phone, give it, whatever it might be. You could react to stuff. There's just like they're really poor, like green screen, which is like green screens out and just got like a floating head. So I think you can do a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of that. Apparently, just from what I'm reading, live is going to be really important. Live meaning where the prediction of where it's going to go, maybe by the end of the year, and maybe sooner, maybe a little bit later, is if you're running a business, you literally just think of like a security camera. You're just going to go live on your socials with that. People are just going to like just be watching, right? I mean, people already do it now. Like influencers do it now. Weird as can be. They'll just like film themselves all day long while they're doing like whatever. Sleeping, going around, like it's.
Is it? So AI is coming to the picture. People are like, hey, I don't like that. I don't know what's real anymore. You don't know if someone's AI produced the human quality stuff, and they're just like, I don't trust it unless it's live.
You made the connection. Yep, that's the thing because you can't. In theory, I guess you could fake live, but live you can't. Yeah. In theory, fake everything else. Like when we were young. I mean, I was born in the '80s. Video was gospel. Like if you saw a video of it, that happened. There was no question. Right. Like, oh my gosh, that's it. Right. Nowadays, you can't trust anything.
Right.
I mean, honestly, like you literally cannot trust. Like I'm watching a video, I'm like, I don't even know if that really happened or not. Right. Because whether the whole thing's AI or just a little bit of it, pictures are. I mean, it was Photoshop years ago, or
right.
Like they might have Photoshopped that. Now it's like. I mean, it's insane. So live is going to be the only authentic way to view things.
Okay. This is helpful. So if I'm playing back, like I'm a business owner, I'm coming up with a strategy. Like I got to have high quality, top level content. Hey, people come to your website. You want something that shows this company's put together and can produce
at your best.
At your best, right? You're at your best.
Fancy clothes,
right?
Think about your wardrobe.
That's right. You're looking best for the job interview. You're looking best for mass. I'm locked in. And then basically live taking over that churn.
Yeah, live is kind of at the other side. You have your highly produced stuff. Yep. You're at your best. And then live is like, I mean, you're still like curating what the live looks like to a certain degree. I mean, like everything's curated. Like when you control when you hit record or not. and live's not going to be for every business owner in that way, but I think like if you're customer facing or different stuff, and I'm not saying like go to that right now. I think we're a little bit away. Like the audience might, like I wouldn't say go live and like you're going to get a bunch of people watching it, but that is where it's going. Like if you're like, where's the ball going to be? That's where it's going to be. And so you can backfill it in a little bit. But the more, that's why like the crappy video is really doing well, because it's like, it's real.
It shows it's real. Yeah. Totally.
And I mean, you can still fake that with AI and stuff, but your personality is what's going to drive that. So like I would say the business owner, I know like they're going, I'm not good on camera. Okay, we'll get good at it.
Right.
You weren't good at running a business either when you first started, but you got good at it.
I love it. No, I love it. So we've got a generation that's coming up, Gen Z, and they're
and Gen Alpha.
Gen
Alpha are savages.
Okay, talk about that, because you're understanding the stack of consumers, so to speak, on online. What do media consumption habits look like through the age range right now, and why do you say they're savage?
Well, because my kids are Generation Alpha.
Yeah, what does that look like? Yeah,
they are. I love them to pieces, but like,
how old are your kids? Yeah,
one he'll turn 10 in a week, so 10 and 7,
happy
9
birthday.
and 7.
Happy birthday! Yeah,
thank you.
9
happy
and
birthday,
7.
Bud. I love it. So me and my friends grew up, and we would just like. We just give each other the hardest time. Like I talk about like my love language is labels. My other love language is giving people a hard time. And I feel like over the course of like, I don't know, the past like 10 years, give or take, we've just been so like neutered in like how we talk to people. And I don't know, my kids, like I come home and they'll just say just terrible things.
Giving dad a hard time?
Oh my God. I never give my dad a hard time. If I would get I'd get my ass hit with a belt if I said any of the things. My kids just like, they'll just say stuff. I'm like, it's great.
And you just like, yeah, that's my love language.
I mean, there's a limit, right? Like you gotta, you gotta keep, but like they just, I don't know.
And you're seeing them do that online for like how they could interact with folks on social.
Yeah. With like, I see it a little bit with their friends, and I mean, my kids aren't on social right now. I think Gen Z, I don't know, like the evolution, I just feel like they're kind of going, they don't like this sort of like, everything has to be like this, like perfect. Like they're just like, who cares? What does it even matter? And I saw one Halloween costume from a Gen Alpha kid. It's hilarious. It was like, they made like a big card, like it made it look like they're on social media or something. And it was like a crying apology. And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry that I did this. It was just, oh man. So I think they're just seeing like some like, just like the goofy stuff. Every generation has goofy stuff. And they're just like, we typically poke fun at the generation right before.
Yeah.
And so I think they're doing that with Gen Z.
Yeah.
So
no, it's great.
I love Gen Z though.
No, it's I think it's so, the changing like landscape, not most people are in their heads down, building their business. They're not thinking about the generational differences of media consumption. And you're saying, hey, now it's okay to be a little sloppier for the stuff that you're putting out on a regular basis. You got to still have the put your best on and do it.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about pivoting as a business owner to match, stick with your core, but also match what's happening now?
It's hard. I mean, there's not a day that doesn't go by that I'm not even thinking about AI, or people talk about like, what are you gonna do with AI in the business? Because in one way it could take over. I mean, I've seen some stuff now that like talking about Star Wars. Some guy on YouTube. Did you see this? He like it basically after Return of the Jedi, like all the stuff we want to see with like Luke, he like made it just with AI, like all this like crazy stuff. And you're like,
is it awesome?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Like it was like, if you saw Mandalorian season 2 and like Luke came in.
Oh yeah.
It looks way better than that. And he's talking. This is just one person. This isn't a studio. And he's just like all this stuff. And so it will get to the point where you can like type in like, make me an Indiana Jones sequel that feels like Temple of Doom, but takes place and they'll just like make it all. I mean, right now it still takes a lot of like time and work, but it's just a lot easier for one person. So I say that in the context of like, yeah, I'm thinking like, should we be leveraging that and focusing more on that? It's a bit of a spinning plates, where I just feel like I have a lot of plates because, I think there's also a desire for people to be authentic and go away from AI, right?
Yes.
Like this was handmade because there's been a resurgence just in like the filmmaking stuff where, we talk about the newer lenses and stuff looks too clinical, right? We want things that look more authentic, more vintage looking. And so how do you create that? And I don't know. I'm not sure. It's kind of like a day by day sort of thing, and seeing where things are going and where what makes the most sense.
Yeah. Let's double click there, because I think one of the things I would hope this podcast does in this breaking the barrier is help genuine Catholics redeem industries that are constantly being thrown curveballs, right? You're talking about a curveball that's pretty serious. You have a curveball that's not going away. AI is not going away. And you've got to figure out how to work with it, work around it, work with it in a thoughtful way. Let's throw on the Catholic lens, and maybe the lens of business owner and father. How would you hope that the media industry, say you run an $100 billion company or something, how would you hope that the media industry responds to this wave of AI? And then how would you hope that parents respond as they're forming and growing their families with all the content that's coming out?
I think the important part is thinking, what's the North Star in this, right? So if the North Star is leading people towards Christ, I would hope that, I think you could lead people towards Christ, and there's also just like a room to like be entertaining, right, without leading people astray. And so I think you want to have that barrier, that you're breaking the barrier. Like, you don't want to go below that. You don't want to take people away. You don't want to do that. In what you're creating or how you're creating it. And so I think in one way it's easier what you're creating, because it's a clear way to look back and see, okay, what did we make? And for the most part, objectively, you can say like, okay, is this leading people towards God? Or, if there's like really terrible stuff, you could say that, okay, that we shouldn't do that. The part that's more complicated is the people part, and how you manage the people that are creating that, because managing people is messy. It's there's lots of personalities, and you could have good intentions, but that's where I think the real work comes in, of how do you create this stuff without losing your soul.
Yes.
And it's a challenge. I mean, I
want to hang out there, because I think that's deeply true. And one of the things I think you maybe look at a company like Hallow that's had a lot of impact, that's done a lot of awesome things for putting prayer and practice for Catholics on the map and in folks' worlds and routines. And Alex is now growing a scaling company of people, and he's like, what does it look like to be a Catholic and build this business in an authentic way from the inside out? And so you've got the same team. You've got 30, 40 people here. We just walked through the different spaces. What are some things you go back to that maybe give you an orientation or a North Star as you're building a team and leading creatives in this way? Because that's a tricky one.
It is tricky. Yeah. I think it comes in big and small ways, and consistency. So, in small ways, we lead, we have our weekly staff meeting, we lead in prayer. We have, on Slack, a prayer channel. So we have like the faith part of stuff, although, one could argue we could have more of that.
You got a chapel right behind you.
We have a chapel.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So we have opportunities for prayer, but, it's like your faith. It has to be, we're not forcing anyone to, partake in the prayer. It has to be, everyone's kind of in different spots in the faith journey, especially running a business. Like, not everyone here is Catholic, but what I often say is like, this is our mission. And as long as you're behind the mission, then that's great. And I would imagine, Alex is in a similar spot. Like, not everyone that works for Hallow is passionately Catholic. And so I've always thought of the mindset as like, listen, if someone's hiring us to make a great video, I can't come to them and say, here's a subpar video, but don't worry, everyone's really Catholic. Everyone is extremely Catholic. They went, it's like, no, you have to deliver the high quality thing. And that means like, yeah, not everyone's going to be super Catholic, but as long as they're for the mission and they're okay with it, like that, you have to, it's just a dance. There's not a perfect balance of this. You can't have people that are super Catholic and super good at their stuff. There's, push and pull in that. So you have to learn how to balance that, especially with creatives and really any industry. And then, I think the other part of it too, I was reflecting, I was talking to a lady who, her kids, she's got like a lot of kids, and one of them's going to be a priest, and all the other ones have fallen away from the faith. And I could tell, and like fallen away from talk to her and stuff. And I was really like, it was heartbreaking talking to her. And I know there's a lot of parents in those situations and stuff. And I don't know, this is not any judgment on how she is with those stuff, but I was just thinking about that situation that the parents might be in. And I thought to myself, I think a core part of like when you're young, you view your parents as God in a way, right? Like, because they give you everything, especially like, 0 to 5. Oh, yeah. But, and so you always have, I would imagine if someone has a strong devotion to the Blessed Mother, they probably have a good relationship with their mom. And if someone can view God the Father and call him daddy, they probably have a good relationship with their father. And on the opposite side, if like calling God the Father and having daddy is like, feels kind of weird, like there might be some father issues. I don't know. I'm just making some assumptions. And so I think being a good, like just focusing on that parent level, like just taking care of them from an emotional, physical spot. And so going back to the company stuff, I think if you're focusing on just like caring for the people that work for you on a purely like caring level, I think the other spots can get filled in a little bit, because if someone cares for you, if they kind of like slip up a little bit, you just know they care for you, right? Like, well, yeah, it's okay. Like, and so you get a little bit of grace and you build a little bit of equity with that person when you really show that you actually genuinely care. So, I mean, the punchline is like, can I swear or no?
Sure.
Just give a shit. Give a shit about the people that work for you. Like, if you give a shit about them, they're going to feel that. And I know it's hard, like, and it's hard to do that for every single person. But if you, feel it, and if you have that desire, I think it'll come out in many ways.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. And we talk about like the inherent dignity of every person. And I think a lot of people are responding negatively to AI right now because it's taking jobs, and it's taking entry-level jobs, and companies are putting hiring freezes. Amazon laid off 15,000 people, UPS 30,000 last week. Like, these are big numbers, and it's because we've kind of commoditized work. It's like output per hour. And I think a redeemed view, and what you're just saying here, if I'm playing it back well, is like, you care to the point where your teams see that you care about them. It doesn't mean they're indefinitely employed by you no matter what, but it means that in whatever situation, you have to have a tough conversation, you have to have a good conversation, you're going to look out for their whole person and probably make some sacrifices for them that would lose you money to look after them.
Yeah.
So is that a fair?
Yeah, I think so. It's not going to be executed perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, we're all people. And so just like, your employees might screw something up, the employer might screw something up, and so, but it's trying to like, okay, well, let's not do that again, and you keep iterating and trying to do better.
Yes. Yes. So there's some degree, and like in a Western society where we can make money our God pretty easily. And there's a real need for it to help a business go. But, it's like, is the Lord actually in charge here? Like, does he actually provide? And, can he move money to the places it needs to be? Like, do we believe that?
Yeah.
When we start talking about looking over a team and trying to love the whole person well, while dealing with the very real financial constraints of a business, looking at a payroll, looking at, monthly costs, when have you had to sacrifice for people? And that's like, when have you had to sacrifice for your faith?
We had layoffs a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, and the work wasn't coming in, and it was the first time we had to do layoffs, which was really one of my least favorite days here. And I don't think I ended up not paying myself for probably about like 4 months until we got out of the
4 months.
Yeah. And there was other times too.
Yeah.
But that was probably the longest I went. And so, yeah, like, honestly, that's not like, that might sound like, oh, but like, I would bet like 90% of, or if not 99% of all the people, like business owners, have done something to that degree. You know, like you tend to pay yourself last when it comes to stuff. Like you got to keep things going.
100%.
And so it's just kind of like, in one way, it's just like someone that doesn't run a business might feel like, oh, that's kind of a big deal. But if you run a business, you're like, no, that's par for the course. And so,
well, you could have let more people go and paid yourself.
yeah, but also selfishly, there's also a cusp of like, how many people can you let go?
Yeah.
And then like keep things running. So it's just the running a business is not black and white. It's like 1,000% gray. I mean, obviously I know there's right and wrong and all that stuff, but like there's so many nuances with running a business, and you know, it's like,
I don't think it's a given. I think it's a given in your mind, and it's a given in my mind after just operating in this world. But as Catholics leading a business which has souls entrusted to us to form, look after, provide for in some way, if the team's suffering, you should go first.
You have to.
I don't think that's the way our public markets work. You look at companies that get massive payouts to the people at the top. I mean, look through COVID. Like a lot of people that profited off of a lot of people suffering, and they were writing checks at the top. They're giving raises to the executives. They slash, overseas work. They cut down to make the bottom line. Like, I actually think that's not the operating system in the public equities market.
Yeah.
You take it for granted. It's
Yeah,
great. It's
so.
great.
I feel like a little removed from that. So
Praise God.
But yeah, there is a special, I feel like a special place in hell for people that take advantage, like really take advantage of like, those suffering through something, like, that steal money from like old people, and like the Beekeeper. You ever seen The Beekeeper?
No, I haven't seen
great.
The Beekeeper.
Love The Beekeeper. Jason Statham. This is like this is the whole like thing. They steal money from like old people, and Jason Statham does what he does.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I've seen it just because I've seen it.
I mean, it's kind of like what you expect.
Yeah. No, it's great. So I love that. That's just a default for you. Like, praise God.
I mean, it has to. You can't. I think it's. Do I execute it perfect every time? No, but
sure.
that is what I'd like to think is my operating system, because like I don't know how you become or how you like practice your faith and not do that, right? Like
totally.
Yeah.
Well, so let's take that. Like, okay, so we're steeping ourselves in the habits of our faith weekly, daily, and that's coming into work, and that's leaving. You were about to say it earlier. You don't really see this personal work-life divide. It's all one life. You've got a gym at home, and you've got a gym in your office. How have you seen your work sharpen your family life, and vice versa?
I've seen it in regards to knowing that is as important as this is, it's not the most important thing. Being a father and a husband is the most important thing. And so it's given me perspectives, because I think prior to having a family, if it was a bad day at the office, the whole world, I was like, this is it. And when you have a family and you have, like people that count on you in that way, and you just understand like, okay, that's the most important thing. And so no matter how hard or bad things are here, I know like, okay, this isn't the, if I was really crapping it up as a husband and father, then, it's a little bit more of a moral dilemma. Not that I haven't, I'm not batting 1,000 with that either. So it's giving you perspective, and then knowing that you have perspective, it allows you to kind of like, although they blend together, there is a way to kind of like separate it a little bit. And I try to have, they call them tokens. So I have, when I go home, I change my watch to a different watch. I think I told you that years ago.
I love it.
That.
I do the same exact thing.
This
is so interesting. These are micro. We're going to dive in here. This is perfect. Yeah. So tokens, like things you have that say, hey, I'm on now.
Yeah.
I'm off now.
Yeah. It's like, this is, I think it's just a little mental way to do it. And, you're still going to have bleed over, right? I'm going to be at work and my wife's going to text me or something going on. I got to kind of deal with that. And I'll be at home and like, I get a text from that. And so it'll happen. Like it's not like you're going to have this like complete like separation, but you try to set yourself up for success and have that separation so you could be fully present. When I was younger, going to different Catholic events. I was always admired some of these Catholic speakers, Steve Agrisano, Jesse Menabusen. They would give these talks to hundreds of kids, and after they would wait and kids would come up and talk to them and like share their testimony, whatever it might be. And they would be fully present to each one of those kids until every single kid got to talk to them. And I just thought that was like just really inspiring. I think that's what you want to do. You want to be fully present to the people around you. Yes. And so you can't do that if you have a lot of distractions or if your head's in kind of like two different spots.
Yes. I totally agree with that, and I've deeply experienced that myself. What other habits do you have that help you show up for your best daily?
Well, the working out. So, I mean, you mentioned the gym.
Yeah. What does your morning look like? Let me just zoom in on your morning. When are you getting up? What does it look like?
So, both my boys were the ones on the bus at 6:50 and the other ones on the bus at 7:30. So, like 6:15, I'm up, trying to get a couple of things, get him out the door and stuff. I'll walk him to the bus stop, and then clean up the house a little bit, unload the dishwasher, and then depending on the day, I either will do the workout or I'll like jump on some work because there's just that that morning calm where like there's not the emails or the Slacks and all that stuff coming in, so you can kind of like do output without during the day. It just feels like it's just like like you're setting stuff out, it's coming in, and it's just like you're not making any progress. So I have just a small little desk in my basement. I'll do a little bit of work usually first thing. And then, try to work out. I think would try to be the staples for Monday through Friday. The weekends, because with kids, and it's just is a 30-minute workout and a rosary on the way to work. Those are the two things that are in one way non-negotiables, because it just the physical and the mental, the physical and the spiritual. I don't know. Like it's almost like the working out is good because I hate working out. So it's kind of like, the hardest part of the day is done. Like,
yep.
As much as I think it's good to have it, it's just like I still don't like to do it. So it's like, okay, well, the hard part of the day is done, and I can tackle the rest.
Yeah.
And so setting yourself up for that, I think is key.
That's awesome. Do you have any time normally in a week where you get to be in silence? I know you have a chaotic house.
Yeah, not as much as I should. I mean, I would say that's where like my prayer life and the spiritual part is I'm deficient in, is the silence. The most is like, I don't want to say going to bed because a lot of times I put like a little like thing on, to listen to, but I try to, if I can. The silence, my default is to fix problems in the silence. And sometimes they're problems at work, or sometimes they're just like little puzzles at home. And so I don't know if that's what I should be doing in the silence, but I do enjoy it when I can. It does give you a space just to think, but I don't do it enough.
No, I appreciate the honesty. I was just curious because I've found it really fruitful, and it's hard to make space for it.
Yeah. You feel it's not productive.
It is not productive in the same way.
You feel like you're wasting time.
That's right. It's that fight. I think that's like the tension between growth as an entrepreneur as well, is that the same things that made you productive earlier, you kind of learn aren't the same level of productive as you grow.
Yeah.
And it's like what you did in the early, like it wouldn't be productive if you slept under the table and did the final thing like that. Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of think like in the same way, like you've learned certain prayers in the spiritual life, but as you've grown, it looks different. And we let the Lord work differently in different seasons.
Yeah.
So maybe just one more question, and then we're going to shift gears to the rapid fire section.
Nice.
I didn't even warn you about the rapid fire section.
I like rapid fire.
So you're a father. You love your boys. What are some habits you have with your family that keep the family front and center? And you're a husband. Like, what are some habits you've seen with your wife that really work?
Talking about being fully present. Unless it's a text, I don't check my email, and I try to very much limit when I'm on my phone in front of the kids, unless it's something that's related to them. I would say that I'm pretty strict about that. I might escape to the bathroom and check something out, but being in front of them, I just think there's something, I don't know why, it just kind of drives me crazy when you're around people and they're all on their phone. Maybe it's like the old man in me or something. Or
the human in you.
It's
like, wait a minute, I'm right here.
Yeah, I just find it like, and I, a certain time and place, but I just don't want my kids to see me like with like I'm always looking at my phone. So I try to be really strict about that. Again, unless it's like I'm looking something up for them, or there's like, there is times like, okay, the alarm's going off of what's going on, or someone texts like that. But so that's been good. Something with my wife. I think the reminder that I'm supposed to be, as Christ was self-sacrificing to, his, like on the cross, I should be self-sacrificing to my wife. And I think forgiveness is something that I've really struggled with, and trying to and I'm sure, she has too, we're going to constantly upset each other in various ways, or not live up to what, I'm probably not doing everything she wants me to do, and vice versa. And so forgiving that has been it's been freeing, because I guess without going into a lot of detail, there'll be situations where I'll be very frustrated about something she's doing or not doing, or whatever it might be. And I will hang on to that. And at my worst, it's well, I'll do actions to kind of let her know that I'm not happy with this. That's not doing anything good. It's actually hurting me more than it is hurting her. She probably doesn't even know that I'm doing anything. And so forgiving her, being even if I'm not even saying it to her, but just saying I forgive you. And oftentimes I'm not saying it to her, because if I did, then it'll cause another argument. But in my head or in my prayer life, and saying I forgive you for X, and there's it frees it up a little bit. It doesn't have that and so I think that has been, I felt closer to her after those things, and being, because she's going to always disappoint me, and I'm always going to disappoint her.
Yes,
that's going to be a constant. But did we make a commitment to stay together? Okay, if we did, then we you got to make decisions to stay together.
Yes. The habit of quick forgiveness. Yeah. I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing, man. Well, this is a hard gear shift to the rapid fire. There's no forgiveness questions in this. So this section's a little fun. We're trying to be, end on a bang. I'm going to just throw out common business phrases.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
And you're going to tell me whether you agree or disagree, and why, in less than 60 seconds.
Got it.
You ready for it?
Yep.
Cool. You can't move what you can't measure.
I don't even know what that means. I really don't. You can't move what you don't measure?
You've never heard that before?
Maybe once.
It's you got to have a KPI, or it's not going to change.
I just found out what a KPI is 6 months ago.
I love you.
What that even stands for.
I love you, man. This is
it's
great. Killer performance indicator. Key performance indicator. No, but there's a million ways to do it. I think that's great. That's definitely making it on the show. That was great. Okay. Innovation is about taking big risks.
I mean, I guess. Business is about taking big risks, right? So I don't know if I would say innovation is about taking big risks. Innovation is just thinking of things that people aren't doing. It might not be a big risk. It just is it's just being smart about it. You got to swing for the fences sometimes, but not
so much. Not so much. Don't let your emotions influence business decisions.
Sure, if you're a robot, that's in one way that's the ideal. But I think your emotions are signaling something, right? So if you're angry, there's a signal that's okay, something's not right. And so I think the better way to say it is, don't make decisions purely based on emotion. But yes, like all things, take it into consideration. If this is if it's causing something, okay, yeah. But then, and listen, if I made all decisions based on my emotions, I'd be in a bad spot. But if I didn't make any decisions based on emotions, then I'd also be in a bad spot. So it's the middle.
I like it. Time is money.
Time is money. Yes, it is. Time is money. If you're paying someone by the hour or salary, but I don't know. I would agree with that more than not.
I love it.
But it's also,
this is your world.
Yeah.
I'm just living in it. I'm just living in it. All right. You got two more zingers here. What's just a common misconception that you think people have about media?
That it's too complicated or too expensive to do, so they just avoid it. It's like, I don't know, it's too it'd be like changing your toilet at your house, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, there's like a wax thing underneath, and I got to place it just right. I'm not going to do it. And so I think media can be like, there's just too many pieces. It's too expensive. I'm going to get crap all over me. I might look stupid. And so I'm just not going to do it.
That's great. I think that is totally true for so many people. All right, last one. People are our greatest asset.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. I mean, you saw the tour, all this equipment, all this stuff. These cameras don't you can capture some great stuff, but if you don't know how to capture it well, it's all about the execution. It's always been about the execution. You can do great stuff even with very little equipment. So people are your greatest asset. The hard part is, we like assets like a camera that's very expensive. So we just know that people are wild cards. They might someone that's really great might be there for 6 months. They might be there for 10 years. You don't know. And there's a lot that goes with it. And so it's hard to manage people, but they are your greatest asset, and they'll make the difference between from good to great, or even from just like really anything. Like, if you don't have a good team, you're done.
Yes. No, it's from being your friend for, I don't know how many years now. It's been cool to see just how flexible you've been in so many different seasons, but also just maintaining a heart for people. Like, I've seen that come through in so many different interactions.
Thanks.
People don't see the full side of that, but like, I think as a Catholic business owner, like, I'd be really proud to say, like, yeah, this is Rob's worldview. And I think it's sometimes you take it for granted, but it's not an accident that Spirit Juice is making the impact that it is. Like, it's the team you've brought on. They see your heart. They want to be more like that. And it's awesome. So just thanks for the work that you do, and for being a model for the team and for your family, man.
Thank you. Thank you for Scent, man. I mean, Scent's been huge. Before Scent, there wasn't a spot for people that are Catholic, that run a business, or at least entrepreneurs in that sense. So for me, it's been a huge thing to find that fellowship. Because that's what I tell people all the time. It's all about the fellowship. The formations of all good, and for me though, it's just being around, like, having that commonality and being like, yeah, you get it, you get it, and so I think that's a lot of us. What we need is just having someone feeling like they're beside you and they know. And because when you take a piece of advice from someone that's alongside you, it goes so much further than someone that just, like, you're hearing it on the internet or whatever it might be. And so it's been enormous for my growth and formation, and the business as well.
I'm grateful, man.
Yeah.
Just one of the things that I wanted to ask, if you're working on a lot of different projects right now, I'd love to just let you share about a couple, maybe 2 or 3 that you're especially excited about. Juicebox came to mind as one of them, because I'm a dad. I have got kids who need great formative material. Like, maybe just, what are the couple ones you're excited about? And if you could touch on Juicebox for me selfishly.
Yeah. So Juicebox, that my kids, they're a little older now, but like a lot of parents, like, you put it on YouTube, you put on different stuff. And I was like, there's nothing that really is teaching the faith. And I felt there's just this gap. And so God put on my heart to, like, create a kids show, and it had a really bumpy start, but eventually we got off the ground. It's a YouTube channel. It's got 1.5 million subscribers. We put out videos every week. And at this point, it's been, for over 3 years. So it's got a video for everything about the faith in a fun way. And I think the key for Juicebox is, ages like 3 to 7, 3 to 8, give or take. But it's videos that are made for kids. And it's not like videos that parents are thinking kids should watch. And so you got to be kid focused first. So we so much craft into, like, the thumbnails, all the different pieces of it. And it should feel like the other types of YouTube videos that are out there. So it's an opportunity for parents to share the faith with the kids in a language that they can speak, like the kid language. We've saw so much fruit come from it. And so I'm really excited about that. So if you have parents out there who got young kids, there's that.
And you need people to fund it to make sure it keeps rolling.
Well, that's the other part. Yeah. I mean, we've been funding it ourselves. We just moved it over. We have a not-for-profit. So we've moved it underneath that so people can donate to keep it going because it takes a lot, and we've like many things in business, like it hasn't gotten smaller. It's only gotten bigger and more pieces and more components. And so, yeah, I mean, we need donors to help keep it going is the punchline for that. So, if you want to help,
yeah,
we can
I'm
talk.
excited to check it out personally because our kids need more great formative content. Like I was so stoked that you shared that.
I mean, I don't know when, this is airing, but like whatever it's like, if it's Ash Wednesday, if it's Advent, if it's a feast day, we got a video for all that stuff, Stations of the Cross. And so you're able to share something that, because your kid's like, well, why do we have to, my kid's like, well, why do you have to go, or why do they call Good Friday good? If it's Jesus died, it doesn't seem good. We got a video for that. Like all these questions that you might know how to ask or how to answer, you could play this and show it. And so, awesome. Yeah, it's been good for that. We're working on a project with Ascension called Pillars of Faith. So very cool with that. Ascension is just like such a huge group in the Catholic media landscape. And then another one I'm very, very excited about is with Bishop Barron. It's a film coming out later this year. It talks about the Gothic cathedrals. So that one we shot for about a year with Bishop over the summer. And Bishop Barron's great. He's just a super fun guy and just so knowledgeable about that stuff. So I'm really jazzed about that one.
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks for sharing and for spending time with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, excited to spend life with you, man. It's awesome.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Big thanks to Spirit Juice Studios and their team for hosting us and helping make this possible. If you liked this show, if you could like and subscribe, and if you could also check out centventures.com if you're building a business and want to do it with your faith front and center.